Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We have an awesome presentation for you guys, and essentially we're going to be teaching you guys about our product. We are Asgard Alliance, and we specialize and we simplify labeling. So just a little overview, label printing in Acumatica with Asgard Labels, and streamline your workflow with Acumatica's chosen labeling solution. So label with us. So once again, also we want to thank our partner, our fellow VAR, DSD, for allowing us to do this event today. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so a little overview about the company, Asgard Alliance. Acumatica, ADN partner located in Montreal, Quebec, founded in 2018, and Acumatica Development and Customization Services. Okay, so research and development, R&D for new solutions, and then 2 Acumatica developer MVPs, and all developers are fully certified to 2 to 6 badges each. So yes, we are a Canadian company located here in Montreal. Okay, so what is Asgard Labels? Very, very simple. Asgard Labels is a solution that allows you to define and print labels from any Acumatica screen. So fully integrated with Acumatica, no additional integrations or applications needed. Label models can be mapped out to any screen or generic inquiries, and then also print labels in seconds from anywhere or any printers using data from your system. So essentially, it's very simple, guys. Our main value simply is if you want labels done, we could use your data from Acumatica to print labels. So that's about it. So fulfill all known labeling use cases, okay? So we print labels with any 1D or 2D barcodes in mere seconds, print any industry-specific labels in any size, and then add 2D barcodes to Acumatica reports, such as packing slips. So if you look at the right-hand side here, on my right-hand side, you can see this is a little bit of the aesthetics that we're able to do when it comes to barcodes. So if you want to make a QR code, you can do that. Data matrices, okay? Even at the bottom, if you want to play around with a different type of aesthetics, we can do that as well. Japan Post, Australia Post, and even Royal Mail. And then if you look at the other side, you can see a little bit of images in the bottom. This is what we do as well. So now when it comes to the logistics of your data, we have 2 options. We have the traditional way to use Device Hub, right? So it goes from your Acumatica front, from there to Device Hub, and then to your printer. And then also we have our new way of doing things where it's an Acumatica time Asgard Cloud Print. So it's an integrated cloud, meaning it's way faster, more reliable, and it connects to your printers automatically. So this is how the logistics of the data moves here at Asgard. Okay, so we are a flexible solution. Okay, print labels with Acumatica data, images, attributes, and user-defined fields, and we support for any printing language, so ZPL, IPL, and EPL. Now, here's some other examples of what we can do, right? If you guys want to be creative with the labels, if you want to put your price point on your label, you can now do that. If you want to put your logo on your label, you can now do that, right? We even have indications like if your product is very fragile, right? Quick example, we actually have a client, a client, and they have a lot of hazardous goods. So what they do to help the internal communication within the warehouse, they now have a hazardous icon, which is ideal. So the sky's the limit when it comes to the labels. Okay, we are consistently improving. So we create any number of models linked to GI, print huge barcodes on a regular paper, and then we print high resolution colored labels. So this is the perfect example, right? Here you see like a colored label, and it's awesome because now you guys get to be creative, right? You get to be creative and you get to compete with your customers. Most companies just use the regular black and white, right? But now with Asgard, you're able to use color labels, and that can help not only to compete on the shelf life trajectory, but also internally, right, to help warehouse flow, where red could be meat, right? Blue could be refrigerated products, green could be eco-friendly, so on and so forth. So the sky's the limit when it comes to creativity here at Asgard. Okay, we also have print options. So we also have the one-click print all, very simple. So you could have 400 pallets, and essentially 400 pallets from Montreal to go to Miami of a coffee bags. And essentially what you can do is once that label is created, you can now put 400, and then with one click of a button, all 400 now gets printed out, and then off we go when we get ready for our day. So that's awesome. We also have the reprint, auto print with business events, and then assign printers by users, workstation, or user group. So these are just additional things that we can do to help optimize the warehouse workflow. Okay, this is one of the best features here, context-sensitive labels. So here we have some examples here. We have Costco and we have Walmart. But this feature is not only for the bigger guys, not only for the big wholesalers and distributors, but this is also for companies that are very particular on how they want their labels. So quick example. Let's just say I had an insect repellent manufacturer, right? And they want to do business with Costco. Believe it or not, Costco has a rule, a regulation is if a product is hazardous, because bug repellent is hazardous, if a product is hazardous, on the right-hand side, there needs to be a hazardous icon. And if there is no hazardous icon, Costco has the right to refuse the product. So this could be, this could be insane when it comes to mistakes, because if companies do make mistakes, this can not only cost you hundreds, but millions of dollars a year. And eventually, even some worst case scenarios where some companies now no longer want to do business with companies that simply can't just stay with the game, as in can't respect the rules and regulations. So this is how we solve the problem. It's very simple. We have a set and forget feature within Asgard Labels within Acumatica, where now we create and we respect. Once we see the rules and regulations from your clients, we take that, we set, and we have a set and forget tool. So once that is set, right, every time you do business with Costco, the rules are respected. And this could be really messy and quite complex, but we simplify it, because you can only imagine if you have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 clients, different type of clients, everyone has different rules and regulations. So it's ideal to have something like context sensitive labels. So yeah. Okay, perfect. So now we're actually going to go into a product demo where we're going to show you what Asgard Labels looks like within Acumatica. So Lucas, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Jamel. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen in a little bit. All right. Okay, so as you can see, this is the Acumatica front. So nothing has really changed. If you look at our purchase receipt screen, you'll have your kind of summary, and then you'll have some details about the products that you're receiving. And let's say in this scenario, you're receiving an item from a shipment from a particular vendor, and you're ready to print your labels for that particular box that just arrived. Now, the way you would print a label is fairly easy. So either you go in the Action Toolbar menu, and then you'll see under the Asgard Labels title, a list of kind of labels that you can print, right? In this case, we'll be focusing on the AA receiving label, which I have pinned by favoriting it on the left side, and this pins it to the toolbar for ease of access. So once I verify that the information on my system is correct, I can just go ahead and click on this button. And what this will do is it'll start printing my labels, right? So as you can see, 2 labels were printed. And if we look a little bit at the information that's on this label, you can see that whatever's in bold on top comes from the summary portion. So you have kind of the vendor information, the location, warehouse, the receipt date, the receipt quantity. And then if we look at the barcode information, you'll see that we are pulling data from the details section of the purchase receipt screen. So this would be like the inventory number, the lot serial number, and so essentially you can pull data from anywhere within Acumatica itself. As long as the data is there, you can use it to print your labels. So this could be even data that's coming from the stock item screen if you wanted to pull more information on that particular item, or even if you wanted to create a GI with specific custom fields, giving you access to multiple different tables at once. You can create that and print your labels using that kind of data from pretty much anywhere, right? So there's a lot of kind of processes that go on behind the scenes, such as how did we create this label? Well, we have a screen that we created called the label model screen, and this is where essentially the magic happens. This is the heart of the solution for Asgard Labels. Now, there's a couple other screens in place, but a lot of them are kind of there to kind of make it easier for you to design labels on your own, such as the barcode screen or the font screen or the format screen. But really, the heart really resides in the label model screen. So on the label model screen, you'll kind of have your standard model ID and your description, which gives the name of the label. You can choose from 3 different model types. So it could be label, which is a singular label itself. This is the label that you see on the right side on the render. And then you can have a group. So you can group multiple labels together to kind of have them be printed all at once for efficiency. And then you can have snippets, which are essentially reusable pieces of barcode. So you can imagine that as being like an address that you want to always put on your labels. So you can write a snippet and then just place it everywhere on across multiple different labels. And then the label is mapped to a screen. So you essentially have access to any screen within Acumatica and even GIs. So whether that's the purchase receipt screen, production move, kit assembly, shipment screen, stock items. So any screen is essentially available to you as long as it's on your sitemap. And from that screen, you'll choose a view. So essentially the view is where you want to pull your data from. In this case, since we were dealing with the detail section, the detail view for the purchase receipt screen is called transactions. So that's why I chose transactions. But if you wanted the summary portion, it would be somewhat like a document or summary view. So then every label has a format. So whether that's 4x6, 3x2, 2x2, 4x4, or any other format that you would like to create, you can even create your own formats and then set the DPI depending on the printer that you have. That would be the print density. And then simply you select the format you would like to use, set it, and then that's going to be the format you'll be using. And then to kind of create your label, right, once you've completed all the summary information, to create your label, you simply list all the fields that you want to place on your label in the template. And then from the template, which is heavily linked to the expression tab, you'll have a load expression button, which will pull every line on the template and generate a code. And from that code, you can map various expressions to it. So whether it's something that is fixed, such as vendor colon. So this is something that will never change. This is like a fixed word on the label. And then you can choose a value that's coming from the screen, right? If the expression type is screen, it means that you're pulling directly from the screen. So whether that's the vendor account name or the site name, or even the receipt date or receipt quantity, you're pulling data directly from the screen using kind of this tree selector that we have to choose what data field you want to use for your label. And additional expressions that you can use are functions. So functions would be kind of like making a mathematical expression, adding 2 numbers together, 2 words together, adding them together. You could have contents which relate to the 2D barcoding. You can also add images and snippets. Yeah, and then you have a kind of these sample values that you can add while you're building your label to kind of make it easier for you to know what the aesthetic of the label will look like as you're building it. So essentially, the way it works is, let's say I'm changing my receipt quantity from 100 to, let's say, 2,000. I change that number, I click on render, and as you can see, the receipt quantity kind of changed from 100 to 2,000 on the sprite side here. And that is essentially it, right? So if you want to choose a particular barcode, you go in the barcode column, you look within all the different barcodes that you have access to, which is pretty much all the barcodes that are in the industry, because we work with Zebra to supply all the barcodes that you would ever need, right? So whether that's a code 128, PDF 417, UPCA, GS1, data matrix, any barcode that you might want to use you'll probably have access to. And then we go into the printers tab. So the printers tab is where you essentially assign your printers, right? So the way it works is you have a selector, you choose which printer you want to use or print your label to. So in this case, I set my own printer, and then I set my own user. By setting my own user, it means that only I'm able to print this label and no one else, right? If I leave this user field blank, it means that everyone has access to it. Or else I can even set a work group. So this works with the company tree. So let's say only my assembly and production users are able to print a label. And then from that work group, you can specify a specific owner, or you can just have it be access to everyone within that work group. And you can even set a print station. So let's say you have multiple printers set to a station, you can set a particular station to be able to print this specific label. And then the last tab I'll show is the setup tab. The setup tab is where you apply your rules to your labels. So let's say in this case, I'm setting a rule for the ethics food supply vendor. So what this means is that if I look at my purchase receipt form and I look at my vendor, it says ethic food supply, which is why I was able to print my label. However, if I go to the next record, and now I'm looking at a toy supply, so do soft toy supply, you can already see that the button kind of disappeared and a receiving label is blurred out. So what this means is that I cannot physically click on this button. I cannot print these labels because it's not matched. The vendors aren't matching. So this really avoids any mix-ups when it comes to printing your labels and really prevents you from making any costly mistakes. And then earlier I said that we printed out 2 labels, and this was because I set the number of copies to be printed as 2. Now this can be a static number, so this could be like 2, 4, 5, 10, or you can have it as a mathematical expression, so 2 times however many receiving numbers I have, right? So this could be 2 times 1500, or you can even just have it as a particular number that you want to pull from the screen itself. So it would be pulling the receipt quantity, and then you would use that receipt quantity to print however many labels. And that's pretty much it, right? So our labels, since they're only mapped to a particular screen, we can use it within any other screen. So for example, on this label, even though it's a purchase receipt screen, if I go to my next label, which is virtually almost the same label, this one is mapped to my shipment screen, right? So what this means is that my labels can be mapped to different screens and they can be the same label and they are dynamic in that way. And if you want to see something from the production move, let's say you're moving one product from one operation to another or moving it into an inventory when it's completed. Once again, it works the same way. You go in the toolbar action menu, and then you click on the button, you print your labels, and then your labels will be printed out using data pulled from the screen itself. And so, yeah, that's essentially it for kind of the product demo of Asgard Labels. Now I'll be sending it over to Jermel, where he'll kind of go over a recap and we'll do a little short Q&A.
Thank you so much.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Lucas. Appreciate it. So now we're just going to continue. So essentially, yes. So just to piggyback off Lucas, the demo, right? We essentially, so Asgard Labels comes with many features to fulfill all known labeling use cases. So all-in-one solution, no external applications or integrations, using your data from your system, reliable and up-to-date, and design and print labels from Acumatica. So we're a dedicated customer service team that includes MVPs and Acumatica certified developers. So here, if you just see real quickly, our 2 certifications. So we are officially certified by Acumatica, and then we are also fulfilled by Acumatica as well. Okay, and for any additional information, if you want, you can contact info@asgardalliance.com, contact myself, Jay Lewis at Asgard, or even Lucas at ltran@asgardalliance.com. So if you have any additional questions, then this is who you could reach out to. And then for more info about Asgard Labels, Acumatica Marketplace, we are there, right? And once again, we are fulfilled by Acumatica, so we are FBA solution, meaning when it comes to the whole billing process, it is way simpler, right? Everything's just going to be added on your Acumatica bill. So that's the good part about being a FBA certified solution.